On September 11th, 2001, I was in 6th grade math class. I remember seeing on the TV just the two towers smoking and billowing with flame. And well, in 6th grade, I don't know, I didn't really, to be honest, I didn't really know what was going on.
The two towers are home, at least during the day, to upwards of 50,000 workers.
I didn't immediately think terrorism. I didn't immediately think war or attack. My first reaction simply was national disaster, people hurt. What are we going to do to get people out of there?
There is a chance perhaps there are people alive in there, and boy, you just hope they're holding on.
We continue to check hospitals to find out how many, the extent of injuries. We do not yet know.
Did you burst out with pride?
It's unbelievable in there. This guy's still trapped. We couldn't get to him.
Message to your family?
No, I'm alive. I'm okay.
9/11, I was actually a senior in high school, and I was in my AP English class, and we heard an announcement come over the intercom saying that we should all turn on our televisions, that there was a matter of national importance. And I remember talking to my English teacher afterwards, and he said, I guarantee you, at this point, our country is going to go to war.
There's a second plane just crashed into the World Trade Center. I think we have a terrorist attack of proportions that we cannot begin to imagine at this juncture.
Sleep, my mom comes running in, and she just starts, yelling, we're under attack, we're under attack. And to look at us kind of like, what? Half awake. And so I was kind of confused.
A lot of uncertainty right now as to what is happening.
Well, I was walking into class, and the students told me. It was about 9:30, and one of my students left because he said he had a friend in the trade towers, and I hadn't heard anything about it, and we had class, and then I went back and I watched it on TV.
That there have been attacks in 2 American cities, New York and in Washington. The trade centers here in New York have been hit by airplanes.
And I remember my dad leaving and then driving back and being like, you need to turn on the news because some stuff is happening. And then went to school and everybody was freaking out. I think the scariest thing was just seeing how the adults in my life were reacting because they understood what was going on.
The whole side has collapsed?
The whole building has collapsed.
The whole building has collapsed?
The building has collapsed.
That's the southern tower you're talking
Exactly.
about.
When I was a graduate student at the University of Notre Dame, I don't think I really understood the scope of it until I went to my Christology course that morning. And we walked into the class and the professor had the TV on. And just at that point, that was when one of the towers fell. And he put a note up on the board that just said, class is canceled today, and he walked out of the classroom. And there was just an empty feeling all over campus. And I remember looking up in the sky and just noticing how odd it was that there were no airplanes flying over.
So this looks like it is some sort of a concerted effort to attack the World Trade Center that is underway.
At the time I was at St. Mary's College, I was with our twin boys who were then 3 years old. My wife was out on campus for a walk, and she came rushing into the door and said, a plane has struck the Twin Towers. And that's when we turned the TV on. And like many at first, I thought it was an accident. A plane had misflown, misdirected, had flown into the towers. And it was when the second plane hit that you knew something very different was going on. We were glued to the TV to try to find out what was happening. It just was disbelief. Complete disbelief, first that it happened, and second that these buildings were collapsing in the middle of New York City.
And what casualties might have occurred, which is the information that we are. I want you to take a look at what's happening right now. That is a live picture.
That's a live picture too. That's World Trade Center 2 has just collapsed.
That's the second tower to collapse.
I just remember my mom and our neighbor in deep conversation, and I sat down on her green chair and watched the news all morning. And for a child, it was pretty shocking. I don't think I got the whole concept grasp of what a tragic event was happening.